Wow, man. It's about noon on Sunday. It's laundry day. As I'm folding some laundry, I was watching Face the Nation on CBS. And I saw two interviews that I found to be greatly concerning. One was with United States Senator Rand Paul, who had two very important things to say. He's trying to, for some reason, I don't know the details, claw back $500 billion in spending that has already been approved by the Congress and has already been signed into law by our last president, Joe Biden. Or maybe it's included in this funding thing that just went through last week that Chuck Schumer did such a great job standing up to. I don't know. But he said that he has had some very productive conversations on this topic with Elon Musk. Not the president, not Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. He has had very productive conversations about clawing back $500 billion worth of already approved spending with Elon Musk. Why is a United States Senator talking to an unelected businessman who's, allegedly whacked on ketamine about that? Second, the show's host was asking him about the Department of Education, abolishing the Department of Education, and the amount of funding that the state, his home state of Kentucky, receives from the Department of Education. And he said his vision is that we need to have the best people teaching our kids. I don't think anybody would disagree with that sentiment. And he said, but these people, they need to be not teaching a classroom full of 20 or 30 kids. They need to be teaching millions of kids over the internet. So these Republicans who are still so angry about shutting down schools for COVID and having Zoom classes now want to make Zoom classes the nationwide standard so that they can eliminate the Department of Education. And I saw a couple of great TikToks this morning that served as a reminder of why the Department of Education came into being in the first place. Because who was in charge? Well, states are still in charge of their own curriculum, but the Department of Education put in place certain rules and regulations because the states could not be trusted with public education. What does that mean? Prior to the formation of the Department of Education, the states could not be trusted to educate girls, could not be trusted to educate black students, could not be trusted to educate students whose first language was not English. The states could not be trusted to educate disabled students or special needs students. And we saw Jessica Tarloff get the answer out of Greg Gutfeld live on Fox News a couple nights ago, where he said he is not in favor of disabled kids or special needs kids being educated at all. At all. He said that live. He said that live on Fox's #1 rated program. And then we had an interview with Mike Walls, former Florida congressman whose seat is up for a special election right now, April 1st. If you live in Florida, please vote in that election. And he was talking about the Houthi. He was talking about the U.S. military action this past week relative to the Houthis in the Middle East, and every single answer that he gave about the Houthis, he made a dig at either Joe Biden or Barack Obama. I mean, all of these white male Republicans in Washington, D.C. are so unimaginably obsessed with Barack Obama's manhood. The only other person's manhood that they are similarly obsessed with is Hunter Biden's. But then he was talking about, she was questioning him about these Venezuelan flights, and they are describing every single thing as terrorists or terrorism. And the Venezuelan government is coordinating with these gangs in the United States such that they're essentially engaging in war against the United States, which is a precursor to an act, the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. And they have presented absolutely zero fucking evidence for that. And going forward, you protest Tesla, you're a terrorist. You protest Trump, you're a terrorist. Everything is going to be terrorism and national security. Every single fucking thing. And that's how they're going to do what they're going to do to people like us.